right, we're in Alabama. Just finished the Anita Collier's Alabama Bigfoot conference. Now we're on our way to Brother Mark and Sister Becker's house. This should be an interesting trip.
We're going to what, Creepy Mountain?
Yeah, he's going to take us to Creepy Mountain. And I don't know why my phone keeps going out of focus. That's
I'm
weird.
driving, it's trying to focus with the movement.
We'll go to Creepy Mountain and talk to Mark and Becca and get some more of them good old country eggs. Looking forward to this. Been looking forward to it for a while.
Tennessee River. Sure is prettier than ours, isn't it? No, I mean it's
Sure is pretty down here in Alabama.
Hickories usually don't bend.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, that could be natural.
Could be something different.
It's kind of
Now where are we at? Brother Mark Hollands.
Hollands Hunters Camp.
Hollands Hunters Camp,
in the Wildlife
Alabama.
Management area in Alabama. We're right up here where the guy was supposedly killed in the early 80s.
By a
The unknown animal. That's what the report said.
yeah.
And
Well.
there's a lot of activity here.
What's up with all those falling?
Yeah, look at that other tree being right there. They're in here everywhere.
That one there's about ready to come down, ain't it?
Yeah, that doesn't have some good heart in it. There'll be some good fat wood in there,
Yeah.
which here we call it heart.
Yeah.
I know everybody in different parts of the country call it different things.
Right.
We call it heart pine. So.
Just get off the road just for a second here, brother.
We walk through no snakes.
You got it.
This place is beat up with rats.
Yeah, and I don't have my walking stick. Definitely Bigfoot territory. Just look at the size of that pine cone. It's huge. See anything out there, brother?
Yeah, but listen to that old crow, seeing what he's saying. But he's acting okay right now.
Right.
Now, if
When boogers get around, they don't usually say anything, right?
Well, that or either they'll all go ballistic.
Yeah.
It'll sound like like they're after a hawk or something. You know how
Right.
they'll do when they get after a hawk.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they'll go ballistic. I don't know why. I don't know if they warning all the rest of them that something's on the ground moving or what. And then, like you said, a lot of times it goes deaf, and it's pretty darn quiet out here. Right
It is.
now. Yeah, back this direction is where Roger Williams caught that audio of them howl. It's back in here.
Yeah.
And then Miss Pat and Joe Parker caught some audios about 4 a.m. in the morning that was very good. They kind of like
Yeah.
it'd be a dog bark, and then you'd hear the and a dog would bark and just went back and forth.
Yeah.
Very good audio. Sounds similar to some of the stuff from up on Creepy Mountain that we've caught in the past. Similar noises.
Yeah, I had this flipped around like this, bro.
Yeah.
Just kind of walking.
You thought when it says something across it behind you, peeks out. I do a lot of this when I'm videoing. I'll just
Yeah.
be doing it right there as I walk. Because the other thing, I actually want to keep my eyes where I can see.
Right.
You never know what you might be to walk into.
This place is eat up with diamondbacks, huh?
Yeah. Well, we've got a big mountain right in front of us. It's about, I don't know, 1,800 feet. A lot of rocks up there, and then things come down in here looking for water in the summer.
Yeah.
So these branches and stuff, so if it gets real dry. The other half laying up in these old road beds too. That's why I keep looking ahead of us.
Right. Well, I do creek walking. I gotta look ahead of us and make sure there's no snakes, so Latisha will be safe.
That's pretty cool to find that little tip a while ago.
Right.
Get right
Just
out and say
immediately.
something about it, and there it is.
Made out of quartz. Now that's rare, brother.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare to find a quartz arrowhead.
Down in here now you find a lot of flint and a lot of quartz.
Yeah.
About half of mine at home are quartz. And I think I've found spots where they've done the chipping, where they'd sit there
Yeah.
and
The
make them.
flaking, the flint
There'd be a
napping.
lot of flakes in an area.
Yeah. Let's
You
walk a
good?
little further, brother, and then we'll turn around and head on back to the girls, I guess. I'm gonna leave them alone for too long, even though they got a gun.
Yeah, I imagine they're watching me and you more than they would be them right now.
I would
We're
hope
heading
so.
up into more into their territory. But I'm very surprised we hadn't heard a piece of wood get hit or a rock get hit. That's very typical down here.
Well, I've got Nightmare with me. If they see that, it might change their mind, brother. I don't know.
Y'all have them saw bars up there in Kentucky?
Oh yeah.
Man,
I think
that's
this is
something that'll rip you alive.
maybe a deer come through here.
Yeah. They still have a pretty good deer population in here. Was some hogs, but the state wildlife agency got them out of here in a hurry.
They did?
Oh yeah, they trapped them out in a hurry.
They can't do that down the
But now-
LBL. Amazingly,
See?
yeah.
I wonder how many else got eat up by something else.
Yeah.
I think that pine tree may have done that hickory that way.
Yeah, when it fell.
But you don't see hickories bent like that much just out by themselves.
Yeah, yeah, they
When
don't.
you do, that's when I start paying attention to them. Or sweet gums. Yeah, some of them are natural, but some of them are kind of, wow,
Yeah.
strange.
suspect.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely a beautiful place.
Oh yeah, this place has had a lot of. What was that?
What'd you hear?
May have been a squirrel moving on us after we passed him. You know how they let you walk past
Yeah.
them, then they'll move to the other side of the tree.
Right.
That may have been what I heard. That was a pretty piece of quartz right there. That's good. I don't think it's no point. We can go to that curve, and then it starts
Okay.
a pretty good hill.
All right.
So
Sounds
to that
good.
green patch, so you stop there, however you want to do. This is the only way you find out stuff. Walk in and look,
That's right.
ease around, and also sometimes, like we do it now, talking, it puts them at ease and they'll come up
Yeah.
closer because they know you're not paying as much attention. Well, that's what I seem to think happens.
Mm-hmm. First time down here in Alabama. I have to say it's beautiful down here. More mountains here than I thought.
On this side of the state, yes, a lot of.
Right, the other side is flat, more flat.
Well, actually, it's very hilly.
Yeah.
Because when the Appalachians come into Alabama, it fingers out like a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it comes this way, then the other parts turn toward Birmingham, Bankhead, Huntsville. So it just comes in and kind of turns, and this comes due south. This is part of the Lookout Range from
Yeah.
Lookout Mountain. And this is kind of where it all ends. And then it's gentle rolling hills to Montgomery. Then you get into the Gulf, what we call the Gulf Plain, where you get into the river bottoms, the swamps.
Mm-hmm.
So actually a very good place in here.
Now tell me one more time, brother, so I know I got it on film, about the people that was found here dead or missing or messed up
Well,
in this area.
the biggest one, of course, was the hunter that was found either in 81 or 82. I can't remember exactly what year. I held a piece of paper in my hands that was supposed to have been an official, I guess, coroner's report to the police department, to the sheriff's department. Said death by unknown animal. And according to that, one arm was ripped off. His body was in a twisted manner, like you would wring a rag out with, water.
Yeah, a wash rag.
And then his one back leg was pulled backwards and broke. And heavy bruising, but no bite marks or anything. The family reported him missing to the sheriff's department, and I think the sheriff's department probably contacted the game wardens because this is a management area. The brother knew where he was hunting at, knew the location, so he came and went with them in here with a game warden and found him. And he did have his rifle laying by him, wasn't discharged. It hadn't been shot or nothing, but was loaded, my understandings. He was about 10 foot from his ladder stand, and it was a ladder stand, wasn't a climber. It was a ladder stand, and some of the locals have said they've heard, they knew about it, but now they were told, a lot of them said they heard he had a heart attack at the tree stand, but that report I read said different. So
Yeah.
there's some, whatever you want to call it, going on there.
Right.
So you don't really, and if that report was a truthful document.
They say there's been abandoned tents found up here too.
Abandoned tent had the lady's stuff, her clothes, her makeup, kids' clothes, all her food, cooler, everything. Her zipper, on her tent was torn out. No vehicle. Her identification was left in there. We turned the identification into one of the Alabama game wardens. Ain't heard nothing from it since.
So you're the one that found the tent, the abandoned tent?
Hey, well, there was a bunch of us. We was actually having a Bigfoot out in here, and that tent
really?
was found. And finally, one of our people who actually had been involved, I think, in search and rescue, decided to go in the tent, and that's when they found her identification. And we called the game wardens and turned it in. The tent actually sat down there for another month. Nobody cleaned it up.
Really?
So we don't know if, we don't really know what happened. And I looked for missing persons in this area for that time period, and I never found nothing. But over the time, some of the locals have talked about other people being found. Some going missing, never being found. But of course, they were always told the person was found overdosed or that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
you really don't know, unless you go pull those police reports to really see. And when I have tried to dig into it a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you, you just don't pull up stuff well. I don't know why.
Right.
But it may be where you have to really dig in the back of the internet to find it, maybe. I don't know. But that's some of the stuff in this area. And then on up in the northern part of the Codega National Forest, what they call Chakalaka, a lot of tents have been found and abandoned up there and missing people up there and stuff. So it's all throughout this Codega National Forest. And you could walk this and go into Georgia and get in the North Georgia mountains easy. In fact, there's a trail comes through here, the Pinhoti. Runs all the way into Georgia to the Appalachian Trail, and you could walk it. And a lot of people do. So, and I hear some stuff from them people on that Pinhoti Trail. They'll talk about certain areas they don't like camping because stuff goes on at night.
Right.
It's a very active place, always has been. Very active place. There's some private property not far from here. It's very active, but it's wouldn't be hard for, we're talking maybe 3 miles from here. That a researcher went there regular. I knew him real well. Bill White, a lot of people know who Bill White was, or Tal Banco as he used on the internet. He thinks these boogers run back and forth. There's a big creek down here. He thinks they run them back and forth on that creek, and that creek goes right by those people's houses. So
a lot of Bigfoot reports down here. What about Dogman, brother? You ever hear any Dogman reports or sightings here?
A few.
In this area?
More toward the middle of the national forest, toward where Cheehaw's at, which is the highest point in Alabama. Over to the little town of Lincoln, right off I-20. There's some Dogman reports from there. And a little bit further north, I haven't heard of a Dogman sighting down in here, but don't mean it ain't. Because people have said they've heard some strange howls back in these places that didn't sound like a coyote. It sounded a lot more bigger, I guess you would say. But as far as Dogman, not really down in here. It's more north of us, about 20 miles, where that really picks up.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's interesting, brother.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, this is my brother Mark Plowboy Green. Now tell everybody the name of your channel, brother.
It's Cedar Creek Bottoms, Farmstead Life. We talk about a little bit of everything on there, from farming and gardening to Bigfoot to paranormal. So,
yeah. So you guys make sure you go and check out his channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe to it. And
I really appreciate that.
hit that like button for me, okay?
Because all I want to do is tell the truth.
That's right. That's what we're here for, brother, and that's what we're doing. So that's what we're going to keep doing.
But you find out sometimes the truth's hard to get to.
Hard to get to, and even harder to believe once you get to it.
Right. A lot of reports from not just in here, but all over this part of Alabama. A lot of reports. The main place I researched is Creepy Mountain, and it's 12 miles from here. That's where Finding Bigfoot come one time back in 2013.
Yeah.
That place has had a lot of activity, so it's only 12 miles from here. And I've heard of stuff all over, and I've went and investigated a lot of them and find tracks,
Yeah.
hear vocals, and even seen the boogers in places a couple of times.
All right, tell us about one of those times you saw a booger, brother. What happened?
Well, of course, everybody I think knows about my first encounter, which was in Lowndes County, Alabama. But
Well, that's the one you emailed me.
yes, that's my first.
Almost a couple years ago, and I read on my.
Right, that was my first encounter. That's what got me started in this.
Yeah.
And but I guess you'd say probably the one I remember the most besides that one was I had probably a 8 or 9 footer stand up on the back end of my truck on the back side. During the outing, I had 2 more witnesses. And like I tell everybody, I never forget his eyes, because this is why I remember this sighting better than almost any of them. His eyes were doing like the Twilight Zone.
Right,
if you know what I'm talking about.
Like a hypnotic
like the
rotation.
black and white.
Yeah.
His eyes were doing that, and they were about that big around, what they looked like.
Oh, wow.
And he stared at me for maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Of course, I had my sister-in-law trying to climb my back. She was screaming.
So his eyes looked like they were spinning,
Like
rotating.
they were spinning, yes.
That's
And then when he
so
left, he turned and he went up through the woods, and he was like a bull elephant leaving there. You could see pine swaying, and you could hear him leaving. And but he crawled up on us. I think he had to crawl because I'd been listening to him. I had a pair of hunter ears on, and I'd been hearing something creeping. I'd hear that little subtle noise, and I done told my sister-in-law and the guy she was dating at the time, which he was a member of the hunting club, and he's seen boogers before. I told him, I said, I think one's real close to us. And it wasn't maybe 45 seconds later when he stood up. Don't know why he stood up or what he was thinking. But my daughter was also there, but I done set her in the truck. She just remembers the commotion. She didn't see it, but my sister-in-law got a glimpse of it, and her boyfriend at the time, he got a glimpse of it. But I got a good, me and him locked eyes for a minute.
Right.
And I was looking up at him.
How did it feel when you saw those eyes spinning around like that?
That's when I, besides my friend seeing the portal, is when I started going toward them not just being flesh and blood. I was flesh and blood till up to that time, and then when my friend seen the portal, him and 2 other ladies, and then several of my other friends in the Bigfoot, what I call that I were talking to in the Bigfoot groups, we're seeing them cloaking, seeing them half disappear, and I said, there's more to these things.
Right. Now, I've experienced the cloaking myself, and so tell us about the portal your friend saw. What did that look like?
Well, I didn't actually see it, so I'm going by what he told me and the 2 ladies that went out on this green field on the hunting club. I stayed at a truck with a lady who was too scared to get out of the truck. Her husband was back at camp. I didn't want to leave that lady by herself sitting there, so I stayed with her. And Keith, that was my research buddy. His wife also stayed out there with us, and him and 2 other ladies walked into the green field, plus another man. But he did not see the portal because he was looking the other way. He had his back to it because this happened so quick, they said. But they said just a little ball of light just come open real quick. They seen what they said was a figure, but they don't know what kind of figure, but it was on 2 legs. It came forward. It's like it seen them, and it withdrew itself back, and the thing just shrunk. And while it was open, they said it looked like churning water in there, just like if you took a clear glass and took water and poured it in it, how it bubbles and churns. They said that's what it looked like, and it was a bluish white color. And they said this all took place probably in a 5 or 6 second. I mean, you know, just split. It come open. They all looking at it. It closed, and they were speechless. So the guy behind them didn't even know what was going on. They came back out to where the trucks were. They were definitely sick. One lady was, I think, almost in shock. The other one was nauseous. Felt like she was going to throw up. My buddy, you could tell he was white as a sheet, wasn't feeling good. So, but now the guy who didn't see this didn't get sick. So I don't know if it's because them three witnessed it. And I wish I had him here to tell you, because he could tell you a lot better. You know, he could probably go to detail to detail.
Right.
I'm telling you from what I heard, you know, so.
Well, did they see anything inside the portal other than what looked like churning water?
Well, there was
figures?
a figure.
There was a figure?
There was a figure come like it was going to step out. It's like the figure seen them, and when it seen them, it withdrew back into there, and that's when that thing closed up quick.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And that field has also produced a lot of orbs.
Yeah.
And if we get to go tonight, if the weather holds and we can, we may walk out to it. If if y'all want to.
Well, we're game for it, brother.
All right. Well,
Now, when the figure looked out of the portal, could they describe it? Did they get a good enough look at it to
no,
say
so
what
they
it
just
looked
said it was on 2 legs, and it was built like a human. You know, they couldn't tell if it was a Bigfoot or any type of, any type of thing like that. They just said it had a human-looking build to it.
Yeah.
In other words, built like us, and they said the size was similar to our size. So,
That's pretty amazing.
right. It's
As you know, we saw what I think was a portal down in, or up in the LBL
yes,
a few weeks ago. Now, I don't know that it was a portal, but
well,
Brother Martin said he saw some figures
right.
moving around the light, and it was a pulsating white sphere. So I didn't know what else to call it.
Well, and it
I
was
know
kind
I've
of
never
bluish
seen
white
anything-
through the night light, wasn't it?
The
Or
night
through
vision,
night vision.
yes, night vision. It
Well,
was.
see, like Keith and them said, this was bluish white, which I know when you looked at it with the naked eye, did it look orange?
It looked orange like a bonfire. Yeah, pretty strange. And through the thermal camera, it was invisible. Had no heat signature at all. So
Was it also? It's kind of similar to what Hellbent Holler seen that time in one place, wasn't it? Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought when I seen that. I said that's very similar to what they seen that time.
Right. Yeah, but ours was a little closer than theirs, I think, and I don't remember any force field like looking stuff around it, but it's been a while back since they put that video up. But
Right.
you guys go over and check out Hellbent Holler's video.
Right.
I think it's called a burning light or something like that, right, brother?
I can't remember. I
exactly.
remember watching it, and when I seen it, I mean, what Keith saw that time, I mean, started ringing a bell with me. You know? Because I think that was orangish color they were looking at. That's just trying to recall off the top of my head.
Right, now I think that's the one Jesse started to walk toward kind of recklessly, and Brother Joe, he grabbed her and stopped her from going there, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's the one.
Yeah, I really, that really, between that, what my friend Keith and those 2 ladies saw, and what Scott Carpenter's caught several times, all fit that same, and what you caught, all fit that same pattern a little bit. You know?
So we got things happening all over the country and probably all over the world right now, and
right.
People are getting it on video for the first time in history, and I think it's amazing and exciting time to be alive and out here trying to expose the existence of these Inhumanoids. And we're never going to prove anything, of course, but we can expose the reality that they're real and they exist, and people need to be aware of that.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do, is bring some public awareness to what's really going on out here. No one any official capacity is going to say anything about these things. So,
Well, better not go down that rabbit hole, but
yeah. Well, we know what's down the rabbit hole anyway, brother.
yeah.
Two things at the bottom of that rabbit hole, no matter which
Right.
path you take, that's
We
God
could,
and Satan. All they're waiting on you down at the bottom of that rabbit hole. So,
Right. We know who's all behind it.
right.
This is never dreamed I would be. You know, I've been a hunter and fisherman all my life. Grew up in a farming family. We
Mhm.
trapped. We stayed on the river all night. I started coon hunting when I was 14,
Right.
going all over these deep woods. And I never believed that in 2007 I would have an eye awakening experience and witness one of these things. I mean, I thought the possibility was there, but you really have to see one to really get the eye awakening experience.
Right.
You know.
So, when you hear about someone telling a story like that, it all comes down to a matter of belief.
See it?
Whether you believe it's true or you don't believe it's true,
Right.
but it's your belief. But to the person who's actually had this experience, it's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact, and it's belief has no part in that. It can't change that. So,
Right.
but you're
It's,
doing a great job, brother.
Well, it changes your reality.
It
How
does.
you look at things, and it changes how you feel about the woods too.
Right.
The woods don't feel as, I'm not going to say safe, they don't feel as homely at home like they used
Yeah.
to. You know?
There's always a little level of discomfort there, right, brother?
Right.
Once you
'Cause
know what's in
catch
these woods.
yourself looking all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And paying attention to every sound and, you know, wondering what that's making that sound, you know. And, but you can usually tell when you're talking to somebody else when they've really seen one, because that emotion comes out.
Yeah.
You can really hear it in their voice most of the time, and the descriptions they give you and how it acted, and usually you can tell pretty quick. And I think I've only been really lied to once or twice in this whole time.
Yeah.
I come to find out they, fibbed to me.
Right.
And but all the other people, I went to a lot of them places. You find tracks, you find things that point toward them, and then you go back there at nighttime and actually hear vocals, and then you get some glimpses of stuff. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful place, and I'm sure it's pretty spooky after nightfall.
Oh yeah, it's about like LBL, it gets pitch black in here.
Yeah.
That's why when I pulled up at LBL, I said, Lord have mercy. I said, this almost like Codega National Forest over again, but just Codega National Forest got more pine on it.
Yeah.
You know, I said, it's the same makeup.
Crazy that there be these Bigfoot creatures all over these national parks, and
Right.
not only Bigfoot, but Dogman as well. I know a lot of people have a hard time accepting that Dogman is real, but you can believe it. If it wasn't true, we wouldn't be saying it on this channel.
Right. Well,
And channels like Brother Mark's here,
Yeah.
Cedar Creek Bottom. So, there's only a handful of us out here doing this for the right reasons, and that's simply to bring you guys the truth, tell you what's going on, not for views or subs or clicks or likes or money or anything like that. We're just out here trying to bring you the truth. So thank you, Brother Mark. I really appreciate you talking to me.
Oh yes, sir.
And you keep up the good work, bro.
You too. That's all we want to do is tell people that these things exist and what they really are.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't want to accept that, but
Right, especially people with no spiritual foundation, they can't accept the truth, the answer, because it's so unpopular, and that's ironic, because the truth is the most unpopular thing that you can offer anyone.
That's true.
And that's that everything is biblical. Even these creatures that I call Inhumanoids. The answers to their origins and why they are here. It's in the pages of that Bible. All you gotta do is read it for yourself.
That's correct. I really started leaning that way when I thought they were, when I started getting away from the flesh and blood. I said, well, it's got to be something tied in with the Bible somewhat.
Right, something tied in to the spiritual realm. But we all start out as flesh and blood researchers, brethren. You know, if you follow the evidence and let the evidence lead you, then we all end up in the same place, right?
That's it.
And that's the truth.
And even the folks that still flesh and blood, I'm not going to fuss with them or disagree with them about it. That's their belief, you know. And,
that's their belief, and they're entitled to it. But we don't want to have anything to do with belief. We want facts and we want the truth. So that's what we're striving to bring you guys, and I hope that you appreciate the effort that we take to do that. And if you do, y'all be sure to like and share this video and comment, and going over to Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead, sub to their channel and say hello and tell them Barton Nunnelly sent you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, brother.
That owl may still be lit up in that tree. He's pointing at something over here.
Right, now this is a tree that we don't know if the loggers did this or not, but this is a tree that's upside down. So I can see right now, I can tell.
It's been sawed off. All the limbs sawed off of it, but then it's
I'm looking at the base, brother. Has the base been sawed?
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Top.
Yeah. The very top.
And you can see the limbs were cut off, some of
Right.
them. But
So
it's turned upside down and shoved in the ground. It's been sawed off.
Yeah, this tree has definitely been sawed off. All the limbs are sawed, and the top, which is actually the base, that's been sawed. You can tell that it's been sawed, so loggers have definitely, they've been in this area doing a lot of work. Now, why would they do that? I don't know, but I've heard that they take trees like this and pound them into the ground upside down like that as a joke or whatever. There you go. There's one right there, right down here in Alabama. I wouldn't go in there, brother.
Yeah, watch out for poison ivy. Oh, sumac.
There you go, folks.
All right. That tree is laying that way. There is no stump here for this one, unless it's lower than the weeds.
Right, now it could have come, it could be the top of that tree right there.
No.
You don't think it is?
That's what I'm saying. That's laying out that way. I can see
Oh, you can
it.
see that tree?
Yeah, I can see that one. It's
Okay.
laying out that way.
I got you.
I don't see a stump for this one. But I see the other limbs off of that.
Yeah. Well, that's just strange, ain't it, brother?
Something, I ain't saying what, something turned it upside down and shoved it in the ground.
Yeah, now I can see from this thing, I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Now we can see that splinter right there in the middle of that tree. That means it was not pounded into the ground. Now, never seen that before. I thought maybe the loggers had turned it upside down and pounded it down into the ground as a monument that might last a long time. Man-made monument. I see that they did not pound it into the ground, so I'm about to rule out loggers doing this.
What is that? Oh, yeah?
Very strange.
And I don't understand why they didn't go ahead and cut them off in the ground.
Right.
Well, there's take a picture of this splinter that proves that it's not pounded.
Why would
It can still fall out part of the road.
Because that right there, and that right there is good timber.
Okay.
Look, there are a bunch of straight
Well,
planks up there.
They're good solid on
That's big too.
it's a mystery. You can see the place we're at, and it's very, very squatchy. Part of the Codega National Park. See those mountains over there. So, yeah, we're gonna head out now. Moving on to the next adventure. Amazing right here. I'm going to zoom in. Amazing shot, amazing view. Oh wow.
This is looking due west toward Mississippi.
Toward Mississippi?
Yeah, but Mississippi a long way away.
And there's Creepy Mountain right there, right?
Yes, way in the distance in there, kind of where you can see those smokestacks of that power plant. That's the ridges of Creepy Mountain right there. This is called Bull Gap right here.
Bull Gap?
Bull Gap, and the name of the mountain is Rebecca Mountain.
Oh wow.
So, I tell her, I said, you got a mountain named after you.
He sure does. That's like the prettiest view I've seen in maybe my whole life.
This is the last part of the Appalachians right here.
Later.
I just can't get enough of it.
Taking pictures. I'm gonna take a picture.
And they hear screams and they hear vocals from up here all the time too.
This is what? What's the name of this, brother?
Ben Hody.
Benhody?
Ben Hody.
Benhody?
Means turkey and creek.
Turkey and Creek language. Okay, honey, you want to go to Benhody? Yep.
Thank you for taking our picture.
Yeah.
I took two both times.
Thanks, brother Gary. What I really want to do is take off up that trail. What's the name of that mountain again,
In
brother?
the middle is Sulphur Mountain.
Sulphur Mountain.
Back in the 1800s, early 1900s, that's where Coca-Cola had a bottling plant getting water out of that spring. And they used to have resorts there, and people would come and bathe in the water and
That was
all
originally
that.
Rosary.
They used to call that little community Talladega
Wow.
Springs.
Talladega Springs. Now, guys, what you're looking at right now is the birthplace of Coca-Cola,
Well,
right?
not the birthplace.
Not the birthplace?
No, sir, it was in Mississippi, actually.
Next time I see
Wow.
Rosalind Griffith, that is
Well,
they
that's
were-
pretty doggone
But
close.
they came and found springs everywhere to make their Coca-Cola back in out here. So they had a bottling plant down there.
This is why I love Coca-Cola, because it originates from
But that
places like
actually,
this.
Creepy Mountain goes into it.
Yeah, and which is
drops-
Creepy Mountain? Now I'm looking at
It's all
to the
over
right,
here. It's the furthest one to the right.
furthest one to the right in the distance.
You can see the power plant.
Yeah, I can see the power plant. Yeah,
And this
that's
Dix
creepy.
Ridge coming back is a smaller ridge. It runs all the way into Sylacauga and comes out of here into the National Forest. And this is all National Forest till almost you get into Sylacauga. You'll see when we go back, because this is Bull Gap Mountain. I mean Bull Gap, but Rebecca Mountain is part of the Talladega Mountain chain,
Right.
which runs all the way back up to Piedmont, Alabama, and then goes into Georgia.
Now I can see from that the rock cliff there that there's caves around here. There's
Yes.
got to be. So tell me about where are the caves around here?
Well, there's
brother?
some up in here. Most of these up on top of the mountain are not real deep,
Mm-hmm.
but now like Creepy Mountain has some. There's a big one in Chillersburg. It used to be called the Soda Caverns, but now it's called Majestic.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first recorded cave by our government, by the U.S. government in the 1700s. After we became a nation, George Washington commissioned Benjamin Hawkins, which was a naturalist, to come into Alabama and document stuff. And he documented, that was the first documented cave. They've found Indian bones going back to 10,000 years buried in that cave.
Yeah.
And
Well, that car's going the other way. Okay.
and
Good.
also
So the first documented cave in America is right down there in that
Right.
valley?
By the U.S. government.
By the U.S. government.
The first document.
Wow.
I think it was 1798, I think. And Benjamin Hawkins stayed in here and ended up becoming the Indian agent for Alabama and Georgia for the U.S. government. And he's got a log. I think he wrote a big log, and you go read about all that, what Alabama really looked like during that time period. But,
Right.
going back to North Alabama, you got Sahoya Cave, Russell Cave. Man, there's caves everywhere. Some of them is private, you can't go to them. I used to live on a property with 2 caves on it.
You did?
I went into one of them.
You did?
went
What,
to one
did you
of
find anything in there?
Not nothing, but just where, you know, other animals had really been in there.
Yeah.
Now further down the creek from it was what they call Bobcat Cave. Because people
Right.
used to talk about hearing bobcats screaming in there. But you have to be careful in some of these caves because of the quarries blasting. They have cracked a lot of the ceilings.
Yeah.
So you have to, a lot of them start having cave-ins because they've got cracked over time. But you can go in and see where the smoke's on the ceilings, where people's built fires,
You camped in there?
camped in there,
Yeah.
and
Fresh soot, or is it
no,
like,
some of it's old. And,
like
and
Native
people have
American?
found Native American stuff in them, like arrowheads and pottery and stuff in some of them. And,
wow.
but the one in Chillersburg, there's a burial grounds in there. It was one time it was a bar during the Prohibition.
Yeah.
During the Civil War, they made gunpowder out of the bat manure, or what you
Right.
must
Guano.
Guano. They made. You can see the trenches they dug in there, and it's pretty neat up there. It's a pretty neat place, but there's a lot of history in this place.
Yeah.
You know. What's cool, I don't even know if anybody told you, when you was in Anniston, there's mounds there.
Really?
And also there's a snake effigy up on top of the mountain.
Wow, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I'd just
So,
love to see that.
The
This is
gov-
Indian country. This is even,
yeah,
this is more Indian country than Kentucky. This is the first place I've ever been able to say that about, that I've seen in my life.
well, it's Creek, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw.
Yeah.
All of them were rolled up in Alabama, and they fought over this state pretty good for a while.
I bet they did. I can see why.
A lot of resources here.
I would fight over it, brother, just for this view alone every day.
You get up on Chee-Haw where you can really see a lot of the lay of the land, what it looks like for miles and miles and miles.
Even better view than this one?
Yes, sir, even
Oh,
better.
wow. How far away is that?
It's going back toward Anniston. It's
Oh,
about
okay.
30 miles, well, about 25 miles.
All right, a little bit out of our way for
Well, if
tonight.
you ever come back, that'd be a place to visit. Yeah, a place
Well, I definitely want to come back for a variety of reasons.